So I've got a live to cook, live to make in about 35 minutes. I have to start prepping for it. People will be here to start filming. So I need to feed people though because they're starving, and I said I was going to do this 2 hours ago. So I want to show how easy it is to use my jerk kit to make a really amazing meal. It's one of my family's favorites. It's jerk peas, kale chips, and festivals. Easy, simple. Let's make it. So I've got some grapeseed oil going here, just heating up for my festivals. But before I do that, I want to get my peas started because they have to sit and kind of chill for about a half an hour at least. So I'm going to go and get my heat on. Cast iron inductions, they get hot quite quickly. So I can already feel my cast iron's getting warm. I'm going to give a little bit of a base of oil. Beautiful. And I'll normally use 1 can of beans for every person that I'm feeding. So right now I've got like 2.5 people to feed. And I'm not really looking to have any leftovers. So I'm just going to do 3 cans. I like to have a mix of black beans and chickpeas. Feel free to use whatever beans or peas that you or your family like to have. So oil's getting a little bit warm in there. If you want to be fancy, you want to put a little bit of onions, you want to put some pepper, you want to put some veggie of some sort, go for it. But this is a super simple, basic, amazing recipe. So again, oil's heated. I'm going to get my beans in there. Drained, rinsed. I don't mind a little bit of the sauce being left over from one of the cans. Just as long as you have a provider that is not using like shelf stabilizers or anything like that in the actual mixtures. So if you're using someone like Cullen's beans, which is what I use, they don't have any of the icky stuff in their cans. So what you're left with is naturally as a natural starch. So I actually like to use that in my jerk peas because then it kind of thickens up the sauce and makes a nice gravy, and you don't have to use any flours or cornstarch or anything to thicken it up. So I've got my peas in there. It's starting to heat up. It's simple. You need some spice, you need some marinade, and you need a little bit of time. So I've got here my jerk rub, made up of over a dozen different aromatic spices, all organic again. I'm going to say it's 2 tablespoons of the blend. I get some hot chili peppers already. Beautiful. And now the jerk kit comes with a much larger bottle than the one I have right here. This is the smaller 4-ounce bottle. You get a large 8-ounce 250 ml bottle with the kit. But this is all you'll need to take care of this. Marinate in. Voila. Give it a little mix. Now I want to make sure there's enough liquid to just cover the peas so everything is marinating. So it's just a little short. So to maximize the last little bit of this marinade and also get a little bit of liquid in there, I'm going to put a little bit of water. You can use stock. It's completely up to you. I know that this has already packed a ton of flavor, so I'm not worried about diluting it at all. Using my flow water as I usually do for adding water. My husband always says to go watch the 2nd episode of Zac Efron's, I don't remember what it's called. It's something about the earth though. So the 2nd episode talks about water and just how the properties of water actually like minerals. So if there aren't minerals in the water, it will take from wherever it is. So we are avid flow water drinkers along with Pharrell. So I'm covered. I'm good. I'm going to let this come to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, I'll reduce the heat and just let it keep doing its thing. While I wait for that to heat up, we're going to get these festivals started. This is all kind of going to come together because what? That's taken us 5 minutes so far. So festivals, super, super simple. If you don't have cornmeal, you can use just flour. If you don't have milk, you can use water. These are so easy to make, they're so easy to come together, and you can kind of make them your own. So I've got 2 cups of flour here. I've got a little dash of nutmeg, as well as a little bit of cayenne pepper. I'm going to mix that with 2 teaspoons of baking powder, a little bit of salt, and some sugar. You can use regular sugar. I use coconut sugar. Cane sugar is really good as well. Any sugar you want, or none at all. So just dump that in there. Get it all working. And now you want a cup of a milk of your choice. Again, you can use water. I'm using a soy milk. And we also want 3/4 cups of cornmeal. So I get my cornmeal from K2 Milling, a nice local place. Getting food local is important. Not only does it support our local food systems and economy, but the nutrition of your food is also impacted the longer that it travels. Alright, so I see my peas are just starting to come to life here, which is beautiful. Okay, so we're going to give this a little bit of a mix. If once you give it a mix, you notice that you don't have enough liquid, you just add whatever you need. And I'm not worried about it because it's my family, so they're all over my face anyways. Let's get water. You'll definitely need more liquid. Then you want about 2 tablespoons of butter. I've been supplementing butter with oil for the last couple of weeks now, and I find it works really well. When I run into a recipe that it doesn't work, I will let you know. Now, festivals is one of those things that I think come together even better when you just use your hands. And so I'm trying to be nice by using a spoon right now, but I'm just going to add a touch more water and then work this with my hands to get this done. Just like a touch like that even. Okay, so ring off. So it's going to come to life. Like I said, I don't want. So I'm just going to work it with my hands. You want it to form into a nice doughy ball. You don't want it to be sticky. If it's too sticky, you've gotten too much liquid, don't worry. Just put a little bit of flour in there, and you're back in business. I'm just going to knead this really carefully for getting my table on. Okay. So I've got my dough formed. Again, you don't need to be pretty. You're going to be spindling them anyways. I'll let that rest for 1 second while I just kind of quickly tidy my work area here and get myself ready for some kale chips. These guys are ready to go. So I just flicked a little bit of flour into my oil to see that it's hot. I know it's hot, I can hear it's hot, but that's a good way to just kind of try to see if it fizzles, because you don't want to put your festivals into cool oil. Anything that you put into when the oil is not hot enough is going to start sucking up the oil as opposed to frying right away. Let's get rid of these. Okay. Kale chips, super easy. Bake. 400. Beautiful. These are coming to life still. So for festival, you just break up a piece, spindle it, until I let it go. You want them to kind of be uniform in size per se though, because you want them to cook at the same time, unless you're willing to kind of keep your eye on everything and constantly be monitoring that. You don't want to overcrowd, but I definitely want to get a batch done, because I know that just in the waiting time alone, my family eats an entire batch of vegetables. So it's like one for the appetizer and then one for the meal. So what I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 7 in there. Maybe you can stick one more just to be even. Not overcrowd. So while that gets going, we got our first batch of vegetables are going. Our peas have come to a boil now. So I'm just going to turn it down a little bit. Peas are going, vegetables are being made. I'm going to get myself a little bit of a plate or a drain for the vegetables once they're done, because they'll all start happening pretty quickly. Actually, I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this pan just because it has the extra cage in there that lets the vegetables sit and drain off as opposed to sitting in their own grease. Beauty. Kale chips. So kale chips, go back in here again. Let's give my hands a quick wash. Okay, so while we're waiting, we're going to get the kale chips ready. So kale chips are a great, easy, healthy snack. My kids are absolutely obsessed with them. Loaded with tons of great vitamins, really easy to make, and simple ingredients. You just got the kale, we got a little bit of seasoning on there. We've got a nice kale spice blend on the website right now, actually. So if you just head to the website under the spice kits, you will see the kale chip blend. I haven't tried it myself yet, but I'm pretty sure that you could give it a go on any type of a chip. You could make a potato chip out of it, a beet chip maybe. Almost any kind of vegetable, I would argue you could probably get out of there. So maybe you should just change it to a chip one. So yeah, just break it up with your hands. Don't get the stalks in there. You will be chewing on them for days. Again, if you want to cut them up, you can do that as well. I find it's just easier just to rip them off the stalk. You've got these kind of like natural chip plate size bits. It's a very healthy obsession to have if you are obsessed with these chips. Alright. So again, our peas are bubbling, they're going, they're looking good. They're just losing some of that moisture, the extra moisture. They're going to start caramelizing with the sugars that we have in there, the naturally occurring sugars. We've got our vegetables that are browning up really nicely in there. I'll probably give them another 3 or 4 minutes just to get a little more golden. And then put in another set. We're looking at what? We've got just under 20 minutes left in my time. So we're looking pretty good. So again, spread out your kale chips. You do not want them on top of each other. They can get soggy. Drizzle with a little bit of oil. And so this is a whole head of kale that I just did. I gave it a little, maybe tablespoon, not even, of oil. And then I'm going to just give a nice little sprinkle of this kale chip spice blend that's available on the website. And that's it. You're good to go. You throw it in the oven at 400. Put it in there for about 10 to 15 minutes, but keep an eye. After about 5 minutes, you're going to want to kind of toss around the kale to kind of expose some of the bits that aren't getting crispy quite yet. And just, yeah, keep an eye so you're not burning and that everything is crisping up nicely. Beautiful. So the peas are immediately all of a sudden started thickening up. So that's good. It means we're probably about 5, maybe 10 minutes max on those. These vegetables look really great. So we're just going to start popping them out here. Yeah, I really like having the cornmeal in these. I just find it makes them so much easier to work with just having the cornmeal versus having all flour. Don't get me wrong, if I don't have corn flour, I make it without it. It's just the name of the game. And then but we're done. Okay. So what are we at? I've got 13 minutes left. I've got 13 minutes left. I've got probably 5 minutes left on my kale. I've got vegetables going. Peas are going. It's gonna be done on time.